Good afternoon, all. Myself, I'm Divya Soman. I'm a research scholar attached to Kerala Forest Research Institute, and I'm here to present my topic, the spiritual and heritage value of Kannimara taken Parambikulam Tiger Reserve, Kerala. Moving into the introduction, we all know that ecosystem addresses some total of plants, animals, and the non-living environment, which is constantly acting and reacting with each other. And the ecosystem gives rise to ecosystem services. These are the benefits that humans acquire from nature. And ecosystem services stands a prerequisite in attaining the sustainable development goals, which India is yet to attain. And there is a need to maintain a balance between the exploitation and conservation of the natural resources, which the economic valuation plays a key role in. The need for economic valuation arises from the fact that many of the forest functions do not have a market, and as such, the intangible benefits are not being accounted into. So, carrying out a valuation study will help in the intangible benefits also being accounted, and it will help in the decision making, prioritization, and resource allocation, distribution, as well as management of resources. The study has followed the Millennium Ecosystem Assessment Framework of 2005, which is a human centric approach, and it has linked the ecosystem services to the constituents of human well being. The ecosystem services are classified into four different categories, which involve provisioning service, which is needed for meeting the daily human requirements, regulated services, which are the ecological functions of the environment, and the cultural services, which involve the non material benefits, and supporting service, which is needed for the maintenance of the first three sets. We have a set of values which can be derived, which involves the direct values, which is the values which can be derived by the direct use of the ecosystem services like the provisioning service, the indirect use values, which is derived from the regulating services or the ecological functions of an ecosystem. The option value is a value which is derived by conserving an ecosystem services for the future. So that is, we are placing a premium on the future users, and the non-use value, which is the value which is derived by the intrinsic significance of resources, mainly the cultural, aesthetic, heritage, and bequest values. And cultural ecosystem services, these are the intangible or the non-material benefits, and it is a socio-economic expression of the terrestrial ecosystem. And any change in the ecosystem affects the cultural integrity as well as the social stability. Now, moving into the tree which we are talking about, that is a Kannimara tree. The term Kannimara, it is derived from two words which means Kanni, that is virgin, and Mara, which means tree. It is the largest living tree with a girth of 7.02 meters and a height of 39.98 meters. It has an approximate age of almost 460 years as of 2011, and the tree was awarded with the Mahavriksha Puraskar as of 1994-95. The importance of this tree, it can be attributed under three main headings: the cultural, scientific, and the visual significance. The cultural importance of the tree arises from the fact that it is socially important, mainly because the tribes who are residing within the region places high social importance, and its spiritual value is also important to the tree because when the tree was tried to cut down, blood had spurred from it. It is having a historic symbolic value, and the scientific importance of the tree arises from the fact that it is highly notable. It is a unique feature due to its age. It has climatic significance. It is ancient. It is a remnant, and just a habitat for large number of species. The visual importance of this tree is because it is a landmark tree, mainly because it is an ambassador tree and it has a high significance, high group value, and it has many physical attributes that is associated with it, mainly due to its aesthetic value, science, and public value. The public value of it is mainly because the people who are visiting this, that is, the tourists who are visiting the site, associate it with the high public value. So the existence value of the Kannimara ticket is derived from both heritage value and spiritual value. The heritage value, it is derived from an iconic biota tree, and it is an integral part of the ecosystem, and it has been landmarked as ambassador tree, which is the highest landmark status for conservation. It plays an important ecological role by providing various ecosystem services, including the nutrient cycle, water regulation, soil erosion prevention, carbon sequestration, and the like. And the spiritual value of the tree arises from the fact that it is being worshipped by the tribals before collection of the non-timber forest products. The methodology that has been applied is a contingent valuation study, which is used for valuing the non-marketed resources, whereby we are ascertaining the willingness to pay through a single-bounded dichotomous choice method, where you are asking the stakeholders whether they are willing to pay or not. And the willingness to pay that was cited, not more than 5% of income was considered significant, and the value ranged from 0 to 500. The structured questionnaire survey was employed for CVM method, whereby the socioeconomic status, attitude, perception, and willingness to pay as a one-time payment were ascertained, and the sample size was determined using the Gordon formula. And the results of the study shows that the community is a heterogeneous community, and the tribes who are residing there Mainly four tribes communities are there, of which Khadas were dominant with 42%, followed by Madasa, Budubar, and Malamadasa community. The average family size was found to be 4 with a sex ratio of 1,000 to 925. The literacy rate, when compared to the state average, it was low. And the educational status, the almost 42% covered the primary level of education and occupational pattern. When it was analyzed, it was found that majority of the people were employed in forest-related activity. Like you can see there, 9% guide, watchers, and the daily wage employees are also there. The employment status of the resident communities, again, it shows that the male were comparatively more in number when compared to its a jungle safari or route map, it shows that in the ecotourism side, Kanimara take is one of the most important point. And the stakeholder perception that among the primary stakeholders for the conservation of Kanimara teak was ascertained, which shows that 100% familiarity of the primary stakeholders with the tree. And there was change in the forest areas of Parambikulam Tiger Reserve, and the change was found to be moderate to high, mainly because it is a ecotourism site where the tourists are visiting on a per day basis. And the participation to protect the Kanimara teak among the primary stakeholders were high, and conservation status was 62%, which is high. The willingness to pay among the primary stakeholders, almost 75% were willing to pay for the conservation. It shows the importance of the tree, and the binary logistic regression was run in order to develop the relation between the various variables and the willingness to pay. And it was found that income and occupation were found to be significant. The model predicted the result with 75.5% accuracy. The mean willingness to pay of rupees 172 per household per year, which is conservation demand by the primary stakeholders, mainly in terms into the conclusion, we find that the economic value of the cultural ecosystem service is highly significant considering its ecological knowledge production, traditional knowledge preservation, and the decision-making processes, as well as Kanimara take it is culturally significant tree and in providing historic, cultural, aesthetic, and scientific benefits over and above the accepted value of the and the cultural significance and the irreplaceable role of the tree has played an important step in the justification for its conservation as such, and the synergy between the people and the nature need to be developed through the formulation of a policy which works in par with the Kerala Preservation of Trees Act of 1986, which will help in preventing the indiscriminate felling, destruction of trees, and to prevent soil erosion and loss of timber. In addition to that, a Heritage Trees Act will add to the strength of conservation by preservation of all the trees with the heritage value and conserve the cultural integrity of an ecosystem in Kerala. That's it. Thank you.